The firestorm began on a Tuesday, tearing through Los Angeles with a vengeance. It was a day that started like any other, but by nightfall, the city was unrecognizable. The flames, driven by fierce winds, spread with a speed and ferocity that left everyone in shock. Fueled by dry winds, the inferno consumed everything in its path. The combination of high temperatures and low humidity created a perfect storm, turning the city into a tinderbox. The fire leaped from one building to the next, unstoppable and merciless. Buildings crumbled, reduced to smoldering rubble. The intense heat caused structures to collapse in on themselves, leaving behind nothing but charred remains. The destruction was swift and absolute, with entire neighborhoods wiped out in a matter of hours. The sky turned an apocalyptic orange, choked with smoke and despair. The sun was blotted out, casting an eerie glow over the city. It was as if the heavens themselves were mourning the devastation below. Firefighters battled tirelessly, but the blaze seemed unstoppable. These brave men and women worked around the clock, risking their lives to save others. Despite their best efforts, the fire continued to spread, defying all attempts to contain it. The City of Angels was engulfed in a scene of unimaginable destruction. From the hills to the coast, the fire showed no mercy. It was a disaster of epic proportions, one that would leave a lasting impact on the city and its residents.
The air was thick with the smell of smoke and the sounds of sirens. Emergency services were stretched to their limits, responding to calls for help from every corner of the city. The constant wail of sirens was a grim reminder of the ongoing crisis. Terrified residents fled their homes, many with only the clothes on their backs. The speed of the fire left little time for preparation, forcing people to make split-second decisions. Families were separated, pets were lost, and cherished possessions were left behind in the rush to escape.
The fire jumped freeways, consuming everything in its path. It was a force of nature, indifferent to the barriers that humans had built. Highways that once bustled with traffic were now empty, overtaken by the relentless advance of the flames. It was a force of nature, leaving behind a trail of devastation and heartbreak. The aftermath was a stark reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life. The city would never be the same, its landscape forever altered by the fire's wrath.
As dawn broke, the true extent of the damage became horrifyingly clear. The first light of day revealed a city in ruins, with smoke still rising from the smoldering remains. It was a scene of utter devastation, one that would be etched into the memories of those who witnessed it. Block after block was reduced to ash. The scale of the destruction was almost too much to comprehend. Entire communities had been wiped out, their homes and businesses reduced to nothing more than piles of ash and debris. The once familiar landscape was now unrecognizable. Landmarks that had stood for decades were gone, replaced by a charred and desolate wasteland. The fire had not only destroyed buildings, but had also taken a piece of the city's soul. The fire had left an indelible scar on the city and its people. The road to recovery would be long and arduous, but the spirit of Los Angeles would endure. In the face of such overwhelming loss, the community would come together, rebuild, and rise from the ashes, stronger than before. Towering above the devastation was the Masjid Al-Salam, the Mosque of Peace. This mosque, with its elegant minaret reaching towards the heavens, stood as a silent guardian amidst the chaos. The city around it had been ravaged by a relentless fire, leaving behind a landscape of charred ruins and smoldering debris. Yet amidst this scene of utter destruction, the mosque remained unscathed, a beacon of hope and resilience. While every other structure around it lay in ruins, the mosque remained untouched. It was as if an invisible shield had protected it from the flames that consumed everything else in their path. The surrounding buildings, once bustling with life and activity, were now reduced to skeletal frames and piles of ash. But the mosque stood firm, its walls unblemished, its minaret still pointing skyward. Its white walls gleamed in the morning light, a stark contrast to the charred remains surrounding it. The sunlight seemed to caress the mosque, highlighting its pristine beauty against the backdrop of devastation. It was a sight that drew the eye and stirred the soul, a reminder that even in the darkest of times there can be moments of light and grace. The sight was nothing short of miraculous. People who witnessed it were filled with awe and wonder. How could this building, this house of worship, remain untouched when everything else had been destroyed? It was a question that lingered in the minds of all who saw it, a mystery that seemed to defy explanation.
Firefighters, exhausted and overwhelmed, could only stare in disbelief. They had battled the inferno with all their might, risking their lives to save what they could. The fire had been fierce and unrelenting, consuming everything in its path. Yet here was this mosque, standing untouched, as if the flames had simply passed it by. They had fought valiantly throughout the night, witnessing the fire's insatiable appetite for destruction. The flames had roared and crackled, lighting up the night sky with their ferocious glow. The firefighters had worked tirelessly, their faces streaked with soot and sweat, their bodies pushed to the limit. They had seen buildings collapse, homes reduced to rubble, and lives forever changed by the fire's wrath. Yet, this one building, this symbol of faith, had been spared. It stood as a testament to something greater, something beyond the physical world. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming destruction, there can be moments of grace and mercy.
Residents, returning to survey the damage, were equally astonished. They had fled their homes in fear, watching helplessly as the fire consumed everything in its path. Now, as they returned to the charred remains of their community, they were greeted by the sight of the untouched mosque. It was a sight that filled them with a mixture of relief and disbelief. Whispers of miracles and divine interventions spread through the stunned crowds. People spoke in hushed tones, sharing their thoughts and feelings about the miraculous survival of the mosque. Some saw it as a sign from above, a message of hope and resilience in the face of adversity. Others were simply grateful for this small piece of beauty amidst the devastation.
The mosque's survival became a symbol of hope. It was a beacon of light in a time of darkness, a reminder that even in the midst of destruction, there can be moments of grace and beauty. People from all walks of life were drawn to the mosque, seeking solace and inspiration in its untouched walls. In the face of unimaginable loss, the fire had taken so much from the community, leaving behind a landscape of devastation and despair. But the mosque stood as a reminder that not everything was lost, that there was still hope and resilience to be found. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of faith. People gathered at the mosque to pray, to find comfort in their shared faith, and to draw strength from the sight of the untouched building. It was a place of refuge and hope, a symbol of the community's ability to endure and rebuild. People from all walks of life flocked to the site, drawn by the mystery and the message of hope it represented. The mosque became a place of pilgrimage, a symbol of resilience and faith that drew people from near and far. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times there can be moments of light and grace, and that the human spirit is capable of enduring and overcoming even the greatest of challenges.
At the heart of this phenomenon was Sheikh Abdullah al-Hakim, the mosque's imam. A man of deep faith and quiet wisdom, the sheikh met the growing crowds with serenity and grace. He spoke of faith, not as a shield from hardship, but as an anchor in the storm.
This tragedy has tested us all, but it has also reminded us of the things that truly matter: faith, community, and the enduring power of hope.
His words resonated deeply with those who had lost everything. They found solace in his message of resilience and his unwavering belief in a higher power.
He spoke of the importance of unity, of reaching out to neighbors in need, regardless of their background or beliefs. He reminded everyone that even in the darkest of times, humanity's capacity for compassion and love could shine through.
News of the mosque's miraculous survival spread like wildfire, transcending borders and languages. The story was picked up by major news outlets around the world, each one highlighting the incredible tale of resilience and hope. From the bustling newsrooms of New York to the serene studios in Tokyo, the mosque's survival became a headline that no one could ignore. It was as if the world had collectively paused to take in this moment of wonder and reflection. Images of the pristine white building standing tall amidst the ashes captivated the world. The stark contrast between the untouched mosque and the surrounding devastation was a powerful visual that spoke volumes. Photographs and videos of the mosque circulated widely, becoming viral sensations on social media platforms. People were in awe of how such a structure could remain unscathed while everything around it was reduced to rubble. It was a sight that evoked a sense of wonder and curiosity, prompting many to delve deeper into the story behind this miraculous survival. People from all corners of the globe were drawn to the story, finding solace and inspiration in its message of hope. In cafes, homes, and public squares, conversations about the mosque's survival were taking place. The story resonated with people from different cultures and backgrounds, each finding their own meaning and significance in the event. For some, it was a sign of divine intervention. For others, it was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The emotional reactions were varied but universally profound, as people shared their thoughts and feelings about this extraordinary occurrence. The event sparked a global conversation about faith, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. Social media platforms were abuzz with discussions, hashtags, and posts dedicated to the mosque. Influencers, celebrities, and everyday people alike shared their perspectives, creating a tapestry of voices united by a common theme. News programs and talk shows featured segments on the mosque, inviting experts and commentators to weigh in on the broader implications of the event. It was a moment that transcended the specifics of the incident, touching on universal themes that resonated deeply with people everywhere. Religious leaders from various denominations weighed in, offering their interpretations of the event. Interfaith dialogues were organized, bringing together leaders from different religious traditions to discuss the significance of the mosque's survival. These conversations were not just about the event itself, but also about the broader themes of faith, unity, and resilience. Religious leaders gave interviews, wrote articles, and delivered sermons that highlighted the importance of coming together in times of crisis. Their messages were ones of hope, compassion, and solidarity, emphasizing the need for mutual respect and understanding. Scholars, theologians, and philosophers engaged in lively debates, exploring the intersection of faith and reason in the face of seemingly inexplicable phenomena. Academic conferences and panel discussions were held, where experts from various fields came together to analyze and interpret the event. These intellectual exchanges were rich and varied, delving into questions about the nature of miracles, the role of faith in modern society, and the ways in which such events can shape our understanding of the world. The debates were not just academic exercises but also opportunities for deeper reflection and insight, challenging participants to think critically and empathetically. The mosque became a symbol of unity, a place where people from all walks of life could come together to reflect, to heal, and to find hope in the face of adversity. Visitors from around the world traveled to see the mosque, turning it into a pilgrimage site for those seeking solace and inspiration. Community gatherings were held at the mosque, where people of different faiths and backgrounds came together to pray, to share their stories, and to support one another. The mosque's survival was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a light that can guide us forward. It was a testament to the power of faith to transcend boundaries and bring people together. The mosque's story inspired acts of kindness, solidarity, and unity across the globe. People held hands in unity, participated in multicultural celebrations, and even organized peaceful protests to advocate for faith and unity. The event had a ripple effect, sparking movements and initiatives aimed at fostering understanding and cooperation among different communities. It was a powerful reminder that despite our differences, we are all connected by our shared humanity and our collective capacity for hope and resilience.